My name is Brooke Turner. Welcome to News Channel 11. Today we're going to take a look inside a new partner in pedagogy that is reaching the classrooms all across the country. For the educators out there, stay tuned because we have some information that will be useful to you. Reporter Ellie Smith will be joining me today to discuss this new partner in pedagogy called Problem-Based Learning.
Hi Brooke. Problem-based learning is a new partner in pedagogy that is being implemented in schools throughout the country. Problem-based learning, or PBL, is a student-centered pedagogy where students work with classmates to solve complex and authentic problems that help develop content knowledge as well as problem-solving skills, reasoning, communication, and self-assessment skills. The first application of PBL was in medical schools where the institutions really wanted to enhance their students' knowledge by helping them to develop solving skills by bringing the learner closer to real medical problems. Now, problem-based learning has made its way to K-12 classrooms. With this new method, students are learning how to apply the information to solve problems. The information the students are learning in the classroom is no longer a random collection of facts, rather it is a meaningful and relevant way to solve actual problems. By solving problems, the students are practicing what they are learning rather than just memorizing it. PBL is unique in that it fosters collaboration among students, stresses the development of problem-solving skills within the context of professional practice, promotes effective reasoning and self-directed learning, and is aimed at increasing motivation for lifelong learning. Earlier this week, I met with a local principal to discuss with him the role of a teacher in problem-based learning. Thank you, Principal Scott, for allowing me to meet with you to discuss this new partnering pedagogy, problem-based learning. To my understanding, students and the instructor become co-learners, co-planners, co-producers, and co-evaluators as they design, implement, and continually refine the curriculum. Is this true? And can you please talk about the teacher's role?
Yes, your understanding of the relationship between the student and the teacher is correct. When implementing PBL, the teacher's role transitions to that of a facilitator. The teacher no longer stands in front of the class giving lectures. Instead, the teacher asks students questions and has them explore to find the answer. As the students are exploring to find solutions to the problem, the teacher walks around the room monitoring and guiding them, giving feedback along the way. The teacher is no longer the only source of information. The students use resources such as the library, the internet, and outsiders to find information.
Some people say that with PBL, the teachers' jobs are a lot easier because they are not having to present the information. They are just having to watch the kids as they discover the information. They also feel that PBL will eventually eliminate the need for the teacher. How do you feel about these accusations?
The teacher's role in problem-based learning is vital. They are doing much more than just walking around watching the students discover. The teacher spends much time on developing the problem, overseeing, assisting and encouraging the students throughout the project, as well as assessing and evaluating the results. Actually, some teachers feel that PBL requires more time and work from them. So, I do not think the teacher's role becomes any easier, it just changes.
Thank you so much for meeting with me today, Mr. Scott. I'm so glad I received some clarification on the teacher's role in problem-based learning. So, Brooke, I hope my meeting with Mr. Scott helps you and the viewers have a better understanding of the teacher's role in problem-based learning. Next, we are going to hear from a local teacher who is going to explain the role of the student in PBL. Hi, Ellie and Brooke. Just how the teacher's role changed in problem-based learning, so does that of the student. The student's role changes because they have more control over their learning, which also means that they have to take on more responsibility. The students themselves identify the learning issues they wish to explore. They determine the content to be mastered and the resources they want to use. They can focus the material and resources that fit their issues and needs. The students take on the role of a researcher and a project designer. The students can work in groups when using PBL, collaborating with one another as well as with the teacher. PBL hopes to have the students become self-directed learners. Thank you, Ms. Thomas, for giving us an insight on the student's role in problem-based learning. Next, we are going to hear from two students about the process followed by the students in problem-based learning.
When using problem-based learning, we as a class are put into groups or teams. Within these groups or teams, we pick a team leader and recorder. After we have our groups assigned, we are presented a problem. After hearing the problem, we have a discussion about what aspects of the problem we are going to investigate. This is the phase we state what we already know. During this phase, a problem statement should occur. This statement is the starting point for the investigation. It may be changed as new information and more questions are discovered.
In the next phase, we state what we need to know. We list questions and learning issues that must be answered to address the missing knowledge. We come up with the possible explanations or solutions and develop working hypotheses. This phase is like brainstorming while exploring and evaluating new information. In this phase, we also come up with learning goals, outline what further information is needed, and how we are going to find this information.
In the next phase, we will talk about what we should do. We ask ourselves, what do we need to do to solve the problem? We come up with what resources we are going to use. We decide which team members are going to do what. We will develop an overall plan to come up with a solution.
In the next phase, we all go and look for the answers and information needed. Once everyone finds their portion of the information needed, we meet back up and collaborate. When collaborating, we teach each other about our new findings and we discuss how these findings can help us find a solution. After collaborating, we implement our plan and come up with a solution.
The final phase is presenting our solution. We may present our solutions in various ways, such as PowerPoint presentations or writing a newsletter to hand out.
After presenting our solution, we will receive feedback on our project.
My class really enjoys problem-based learning, so I hope many teachers allow their students to learn using problem-based learning as well.
Those two students just gave us a great insight of the process they follow when using problem-based learning. Up next, we are going to hear from expert Brian Watt about the obstacles to overcome when implementing problem-based learning.
The main obstacle to overcome in PBL is getting the students to take the responsibility needed to succeed. Educators have to guide the students and show them that they are capable to learn on their own. We also have to get the students out of the mindset that there is only one correct answer. PBL requires students to think outside the box. Another obstacle to overcome is time management. It will take time for the students and teachers to decide acceptable amount of time to spend on each project. Because PBL requires collaboration, another obstacle is getting the students comfortable talking with one another.
Thank you, expert Brian White. Now we are going to go live with reporter Emma Brown and our local superintendent, Dr. Stark.
Thanks for having me today. PBL has advantages for students, instructors, and institutions. Advantages of PBL for students include it's a student-centered approach. Typically, students find it more enjoyable and satisfying. It encourages greater understanding. Students with PBL experience rate their abilities higher. PBL develops lifelong learning skills. Advantages of PBL for instructors are class attendance increases, the method affords more intrinsic reward, and it encourages students to spend more time studying. Advantages of PBL for institutions are it makes students' learning a priority, it may aid student retention, and it may be taken as evidence that an institution values teaching.
Those advantages are some great reasons why teachers should try PBL. Are there any disadvantages?
Yes, there are some disadvantages, just like with any other teaching method. Disadvantages of PBL for students are prior learning experiences do not prepare students well for PBL. PBL requires more time and takes away study time from other subjects. It creates some anxiety because learning is messier. Sometimes group dynamics compromise PBL effectiveness and less content knowledge may be learned. Disadvantages of PBL for instructors are creating suitable problem scenarios is difficult. It requires more prep time. Students have queries about the process. Group dynamics issues may require faculty intervention, and it raises new questions about what to assess and how. Disadvantages of PBL for institutions are it requires a change in educational philosophy for faculty who mostly lecture. Faculty will need staff development and support. It generally takes more instructors, and it works best with flexible classroom space.
Thank you, Dr. Stark, for informing us of the advantages and disadvantages of problem-based learning. Ellie, we have here that researchers say students enrolled in PBL courses appear to have a more favorable attitude towards their courses than students schooled in traditional instruction. Improved attitudes contribute to a variety of factors including increased course enrollment, enhanced interest in major course of study, and positive feedback from faculty and employers. Studies comparing learning outcomes for students taught via PBL versus traditional instruction shows that when implemented well, PBL increases long-term retention of content, helps students perform as well as or better than traditional learners in high-stakes tests, improves problem-solving and collaboration skills, and improves students' attitudes towards learning. It seems to me that the Partnering Pedagogy, PBL, is a great way to implement collaborative learning in the classroom. It helps students develop 21st century skills, which is becoming a major learning goal in education today. Thank you for tuning in on News Channel 11. I'm Emily Smith.